This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I documented on this channel many months ago the Arch of Baal, or as they're trying to play it off without calling it the Arch of Baal because they don't want people to know it's a satanic arch. They're calling it the Arch of Triumph, which was displayed in London earlier in the year, as well as New York City in the fall for brief periods of time. Now, for the third time, it has been set up in honor of the World Government Summit. I kid you not. 4,000 world leaders from 130 different countries gathered in Dubai this week for the World Government Summit. The first World Government Summit was held back in 2013. Barack Obama actually attended back then. The key word, World Government Summit. So we have this New World Order summit occurring where leaders and prominent people from all governments around the world meet together, and they just felt it was fitting to put up the satanic Arch of Baal right outside. Must be a coincidence, right? We're all crazy to think that these people are part of satanic secret societies, that they're planning our doom, that they're trying to control the world that we live in and manipulate it to make us slaves to them. No, but we're all crazy, right? It's unbelievable. The original Arch of Baal stood for 1,800 years in Syria until it was destroyed by quote-unquote ISIS, which in other words means that they destroyed it themselves as part of some type of ritual so that they can then recreate it and take it around the world and put it at such places during such prominent periods of time as the World Government Summit. The summit is described as an international organization for global dialogue where leaders in government, business, and technology discuss how governments operate and how policies are made. So we know about the Bilderberg meetings, the Bilderberg Group, and the Bohemian Grove. There's a lot of these secret meetings that they have. This one is just out in plain sight, where they're actually telling you it's a World Government Summit. So what does that mean? Globalism, world government, new world order. All the stuff people call us crazy to think could actually be going on. Why would these people want to control all the resources of the earth and the wealth of the earth and enslave us? Why would they ever want to do something like that? Why would they want to hoard all the resources? Why would they want to dump chemicals on us and depopulate? I don't know. People are too naive to believe that this stuff's going on, but it's real. It's right in front of our face. The original art was built by Roman Emperor Severus, stood in front of a pre-existing temple that was put there by the Mesopotamians to worship the pagan god Baal, also referred to as Baal. And of course, the Bible in Kings 21:3 tells us that they built these arches, they reared up altars for Baal. So it's not a surprise that we would see this thing now moving around the world. But again, people are too naive to think it has anything to do with Satanism or the occult. They just think that it's a cool archway. Hey, let's go hang out in the archway. This is a satanic gateway. That's what this is. This is a satanic gateway. And as always, as I always state, this all goes back to the Tower of Babel, okay, where they were pushing for a one world government then until God stepped in and stopped it from happening. But of course, again, they're going to call us all crazy conspiracy theorists when they're actually having world government summits, meetings between world governments to discuss some things going on around the world. In other words, they're coming up with their plans of what fake wars they can create, what's the agenda in each country specifically to usher in this new world order, because that's what it's really about. We see stuff going on all around the world. We see stuff in Canada with these hate crimes and the Islamophobia that's going on here in America with the wall, with the division, with Russia, all this stuff, all this propaganda that the media is creating, not to mention the other agendas like the transgender and gay agendas that are getting shoved down our throats, the Black Lives Matters movement, all these things that they fund and the division that they cause, with the end result being a one world government. But again, we're all crazy to think that, even though they're having world government summit meetings and even putting up the Arch of Baal right in front of it, this satanic archway. So you tell me, was it a coincidence when they put up the arch in London just in time for the satanic Beltane festival, which is a satanic pagan festival that they have? Was it a coincidence that they happened to put it up right then and that they're just putting it up at the World Summit? Oh, right. It must be a coincidence. It just happened to run into each other's schedule. They just said, hey, What a coincidence. All these world leaders are going to be here for the One World Government Summit. Really, the New World Government, the New World Order Summit, I guess is what they really should call it. They're all going to be here the same week that the Arch of Baal is going to be in town. What a coincidence, so they can pose out in front of it, so they can perform their rituals, of course, with the arch there, because that's really what they do when they get together. They don't just get together and have coffee and crimpets and talk about The Bachelor and who they think is going to win the Super Bowl. These guys get together, they plan these fake wars that they stage, they plan all these events that are going to go down, and they also perform satanic rituals. Black magic, that's what they do. All of these leaders of government, they're all involved in it, and people just are so naive to think it's going on, even though it's right in front of our faces. So I wonder where the Arch is going to head to next. It'll be very interesting to see, because this thing just keeps popping up at random times, random places. Oh wait, they're not random times at random places. They're popping up deliberately during these events when they're gathered together, or during these events that are pagan festivals, which are satanic festivals, like the Beltane. I'm sure they'll show up in time for some type of satanic ritual in the spring somewhere else. And then, of course, maybe for summer solstice. And, of course, for Halloween, it'll show up somewhere too. And people will just go, what's it doing the rest of the time? Where is it? What are they doing with it the rest of the time? Well, we can only imagine. Use your imagination what they're doing with it the rest of the time. But nobody out there thinks, nobody even thinks it's a big deal that they have world government summits. That people just don't even realize that globalism, this one world government that they want, is right in our faces. It's already here for the most part. Now they just have to get everybody on board, and it's working because they're going to use the love movement, block the hate, all these things that they've brainwashed people subliminally with. They're going to keep using these trigger words and beating it down people's brains so that people go along with it, because this is all mind control, and that's all it is. So the Arch of Baal is back at it again. This time, it's erected in Dubai for the World Government Summit. But again, we're crazy conspiracy theorist people. Satanism and all this stuff's not real. It's just some type of symbolic archway, has no meaning to it. They just love arches. Even though this specific arch served as the entrance to the 2,000-year-old temple of Baal, who in the Bible we read about Baal, right? And the sacrifices that were made to Baal. What were the sacrifices that were made to Baal? People were offering their own children to Baal, sacrificing their children. That doesn't seem like a coincidence, does it? With all the stuff we know about Crowley's teachings, the occult, and Satanism, and how these people prostitute their own children and sacrifice their own children to Baal. It is unbelievable how much stuff is being revealed to us right now by our Father in heaven. And it is not a coincidence that, ISIS blew up the real one, the original one, which we don't even know for sure if they actually blew it up or not, because our governments fund ISIS and they're one with ISIS. So what really happened there? They fake a demolition so that they could actually remove this and have a reason to bring this thing around, right? Think about it. If they didn't do that, the whole point when they said this was coming out was a symbol to tell ISIS that we're not going to take your crap. You're not going to destroy these things around the world that are sacred. And we're not going to sit back and take it. So we're going to rebuild it, and we're going to bring it around the world to show people that we're united against ISIS. Because if they didn't make up an excuse like that, people would go, why is this archway getting moved around the world? Is there a reason that they've picked this archway, which is the Arch of Baal, which is the entrance for Baal's temple, Satan's temple, the one who people were sacrificing their babies to? In the Bible? Is there a reason for that? So they create a fake story about it. They likely pretended that it was blown up. They probably just maybe repainted it or touched it up so it looked a little bit more modern. And for all we know, it's probably the real one. And now it's traveling the world like a celebrity. And all that happens is you just hear stories pop up. Where is it now? Where is it now? Well, where is it the rest of the days of the year? That's the scary part. How many sacrifices are being made in this archway? How many rituals are being performed under it? This thing's probably been hanging out in DuPont Circle in Washington for quite some time, right? Underground, where they perform these rituals and they get away with this stuff. Or is it just sitting in a warehouse somewhere? Is that what we're supposed to believe? That they just got a U-Haul or a storage unit And they just shove it in there and then they go, oh, but on this date, we're going to bring it out. No symbolism involved. It's just a coincidence that it's there when the One World Government Summit is occurring. You know, the meeting where people from all different countries are talking about our futures and what they can do and how they can control us even more. Yeah, it must be a coincidence. When are people going to wake up? I mean, it's right in front of your faces. All people have to do is go, what is the Arch of Baal? What does it mean? Okay, they look it up. They look up who Baal is if they don't know, if they've never read the Bible. They pick it up and they say, oh, okay, so people were making sacrifice. Okay. So why is this out there? Well, they'll tell you it's out there because ISIS destroyed it and they needed to build a new one so that people would go, oh yeah, we're going to stand in solidarity against ISIS. You're not going to destroy things like this. Instead, people should be going, even if ISIS blew it up, why would you recreate an archway for a temple where they sacrifice children and then bring it to New York and London and the One World Government Summit? What's next? Is going to get dropped off at Bohemian Grove so they could have their tranny, gay rituals underneath it and then sacrifice children who they keep locked in cages? Is going to Jeffrey Epstein's? Then going to Comet Ping Pong or the Pegasus Museum? I mean, where's it going next? I guarantee it's already been in DuPont Circle for quite some time. This thing is getting moved around for these rituals. And I'm telling you, my gut says that they never blew it up because they control ISIS. ISIS isn't really this terrorist. They fund them. And that's a fact. So how else would they be able to get this archway to perform these rituals and move it all around without making up a lie like that? Because otherwise people might be like, oh, there's no real reason. That all I got to do is make up a fake reason. And then everybody goes, oh, okay. And then the people like me or others out there who research this stuff, we're just deemed crazy. Right, we're the crazy ones. When this is an arch for Baal sitting in all of these places, including a One World Government Summit, an archway that was used as an entrance for a temple where they sacrificed and murdered babies. And all this stuff that's coming out that God's revealing with Pizzagate and all these things, more and more people need to open their eyes and wake up. Because this is really what's going on. The world you see around you sitting at a cubicle all day, making enough money just to pay bills, that's the matrix. That's not reality. That is the enslavement that they've created. Mental enslavement and physical enslavement. Break free from the bondage of it all. Pick up your Bible and realize prophecy is being fulfilled. And these things that God has talked about happening in the end time period, I'm not saying it's the end of the world today or tomorrow, but in the end time period, could very well be happening right now. Because look around you and look at what we see. We see temples for Baal erected, traveling around the world, and nobody's blinking an eye. Absolutely amazing. Give me a break, please. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.